Now, before we get into it, I would like to invite you for a moment to close your eyes. Just kind of letting your body settle into whatever position you're in. Taking in one deep inhale and exhale at your own pace. And then letting your breath fall naturally into whatever rhythm it would like. And thinking back over the last week, the activities you were involved in, the things that you did, and bring to mind if there was a time that you were soft with yourself, that you were gentle in how you spoke, in how you held your body, in what you allowed that was nurturing for yourself. And just trying to remember if you allowed this, and it's possible you didn't, and that's okay. You're welcome to open your eyes now and come back into the room. Softening into our experience with ourselves is such a gift that we give to ourselves. There's all this talk in marketing, on TV, and all of these things about self-care, having a spa day, right? Taking a vacation, all these external ways of nurturing ourselves. But true nurturing isn't external. It comes from an internal way of being with ourselves. And when we really start to notice how we are or are not soft with ourselves, it can be really insightful and teach us how we treat ourselves. And perhaps why it is we feel, if we have feelings, bad feelings toward ourselves or things like that, it can really be very eye-opening. Like, oh, I'm really harsh with myself in relation to my work, or I'm really harsh with myself because I'm not ever allowing myself to rest, right? That's a form of harshness. Maybe I'm harsh with myself. I feel like I'm not good enough, or I feel like I'm not giving enough, or I feel like fill in the blank, right? The nice thing is about this, once we begin to notice it, because that's key, is that we can cultivate a softness, a tenderness toward ourselves. And this sort of softness and tenderness it's foreign to all of us in some sense. In women, we're taught to sacrifice to an unhealthy degree to give to others. And in men, we're just, I'm assuming because I'm not a man, not really allowed to be tender, not really allowed to tap into those emotions and be emotional. So we both, in all of our experiences, have some way that we have not been taught, allowed, or permitted to have this sort of tenderness toward ourselves. I was recently on a meditation retreat. I did a 3-week, that's why I was gone. And it became very apparent to me that I was so harsh with myself. And this is something I always knew. But in relation to the retreat, there was this sort of taskmaster that was standing over my shoulder that was constantly telling me that I wasn't doing things right, that I wasn't, I missed a spot. I was doing a working retreat, so I was doing a lot of cleaning. I missed a spot in the sense that somebody was going to be coming up behind me and evaluating me, which was not the case. And once I realized that, I was like, oh, nobody is going to be telling me, coming and pointing out all the ways I'm doing this wrong, or the ways I'm not doing it correctly, or I'm not good enough. I was like, oh, that's coming from inside me. And we can, go into therapy and really pull all of that apart. And I know where all that comes from. But really, at this point in my life, it's not significant. What's significant is that I realized it, this harshness that I'm applying to myself. And I was able to kind of separate that, let it go. What happens when we can do that is that, first of all, everything just becomes less stressful. It removes that pressure, the internal pressure that we're putting on ourselves. And of course, it begins to allow this softening, this different relationship to ourselves that is more friendly, a way that we can come home to ourselves and befriend ourselves. Because we're the only ones really that know our experience, that know what we need, that can give it to ourselves. And by allowing the space to be silent, as in meditation, we can start to listen to that voice. When we are constantly focused outward and inundated by all the messages, inundated by all the to-dos that we have going on, there's no room for silence. The silence becomes scary, actually, in some way. That's a whole other topic maybe I'll talk about next week. But when we begin to allow ourselves to sit in meditation, clear a space where we're silent and we're listening, we become nurtured in a way that no spa day could provide, no vacation can provide. It's a really beautiful way of doing that. And there is actually what I love about mindfulness meditation, insight meditation. There are so many different ways that are actual processes that we can develop these things rather than just being told, go sit and be quiet, stop thinking. Like, that's not helpful, right? Not at all. There in Pema Chodron's book, The Wisdom of No Escape. It's a great book if you've never read it, because it talks about how really the learning is in this moment. Whatever this moment is, whatever the situation is, you can't escape it. So you be with it and you learn from it. And that's what we learn to do in mindfulness. But there is a specific practice that she details in there, and we're going to do that today. Of learning when we're tensing and when we're not being soft with ourselves, and how to loosen that so we can begin to be soft. It can be a very life-changing sort of meditation. So we're going to do that today. So let's go ahead and sit. And I invite you to close your eyes, or if you prefer, if you feel like you're a little sleepy and you might fall asleep, you're also welcome to just crack your eyes a bit and have a soft, kind of blurry gaze, a couple feet on the floor in front of you. Whatever you prefer, whatever feels right for you today. We'll begin by taking in 3 deep inhales and exhales at your own pace. Allowing the belly to expand as you inhale. allowing your breath to become natural. Allowing your awareness to settle fully in the body. Noticing the rhythm of the breath without controlling it. Becoming aware of the expansion and contraction of the ribs as you breathe without controlling. Just allowing your awareness to be with the tide of the breath as it comes in, as it goes out. Without striving for anything. Just getting to know the breath. Whether it's deep or shallow, how it moves your shoulders, how it feels in your body, if it feels free or constricted. Just noticing. Maybe noticing the temperature of the breath at the tip of your nose as it moves in and out of your nostrils without controlling, without forcing, just noticing. And refining that awareness just a bit more to notice after the exhale, the short little pause that happens before the inhale without creating that pause. Just notice it. It's a very subtle noticing, and it may be difficult to notice at first. Just be patient with yourself. So the instruction for this meditation is to allow your awareness to rest in the exhale, in the out breath. And on the inhale, letting the awareness go. Again, it's a subtle noticing. Just noticing the out breath. Noticing the out breath. Noticing the out breath. You may find it's difficult, or perhaps that you lose it. Sometimes it's difficult to find the out breath. Whatever your experience is okay. It just is. Loosening any striving. Just come back to the out breath. Now with the out breath, as you notice it, notice if you're holding any tension in your body. If you sense any tension as you're exhaling, just loosen it. If you notice a clenching in the jaw, unclench. If you notice a tension in your neck, angle your head down just slightly and it may let go. If you're noticing a tension in your shoulders, just let it go. You may have to let go at every exhale, and that's okay. Notice how the letting go on the exhale softens your body. With the softening of the body, notice if the internal judge or the internal talking, the self-talk becomes softer as well. It may not, just notice. Noticing the exhale and softening the body simultaneously. Noticing the exhale and softening the body. If thoughts arise, just notice them. The brain is doing what the brain is meant to do. Give it a neutral label, something like thinking. Touch it lightly and let it go on its way. Bringing the awareness back into the exhale and back into the body. Noticing the exhale and softening the body. Noticing the exhale and softening the body. I'll close out this meditation with this poem by James Cruz called Gentle. I want to be held by each moment as the arms of branches cradle a nest, as the center of that nest, lined with the cottony seeds of milkweed, creates a cushion for eggs, for the hunger of hatchlings. I want to make of each passing minute a safe place for myself and everyone around me, twig by twig, building a life that shelters others beneath my strong wings. I want to seek only what feeds us, what softens the world, like thistledown, like clipped grass, like feathers plucked from the underside of my own body. I invite you, if it feels right for you, to place your hand on your chest over your heart. Allow yourself to notice the tenderness of this gesture and offer yourself gratitude. Gratitude for making space in your day to listen to yourself, to be present, and to cultivate a friendliness in relationship to yourself. When you're ready, you're welcome to open your eyes and come back into the room.